Okay, hey y'all. So we are gonna do another kind of sit down video. I'm sorry for this. We have gymnastics again, so that's what I'm ready for the hot gym. So okay, I had a request on my channel to share the pros and cons of departmentalizing. So for those of you that don't know, this past year, we started off. There are 3 first grade teachers where I work, and we started off teaching everything. So I did math, science, social studies, reading, phonics, writing, all of it. And then in October, our principal brought to our attention the possibility of departmentalizing, and my 2 team members loved the idea, wanted to do it. I was the hesitant one. I was unsure about it. And I think the main reason I was unsure about it was because I was going to be doing the reading part. And first grade reading it's a lot. It's a big job. And I felt very scared to have that on my shoulders. I felt nervous because the group of kids, for those of you that watched my vlogs, the group of kids we had this past year, they were low in their reading skills. Their math skills, they were doing great. Writing wasn't too bad, but their reading skills, they were lacking. And I'm not quite sure why. That group of kids, they were low in reading, and we knew that going in, and I knew all these things, and that's what I was nervous about. I was nervous about it being all on my shoulders. So I sat down and I came up with a couple of pros and cons, but it's not a lot. I had a hard time coming up with some, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm just gonna share like a pro and a con. So the first con that clearly I thought of was that it's all on your shoulders. So I get all of first grade. I work at a small school, so we get every single kid in first grade, and it's all on you. The data is what reflects you. So if you have bad data, that's you. And yes, you do have. So we have intervention time wrapped into our schedule because of that, and that was a great pro. Every day we have about an hour of intervention time where kids. Oh, I'm so sorry. Hang on. Where kids. I think came unplugged. Where kids are getting pulled and taken to areas that they need extra work in. So we have a math interventionist that pulls them. We have 2 reading interventionists that pulls them. Our SPED, that's when the kids get pulled for their SPED time. We have the dyslexia teacher that pulls. And then even our librarian was pulling this past year. And then of course we are pulling, each first grade teacher is pulling kids and working with them in small groups. And then the kids that are not getting pulled, they have some type of assignment that they're working on their computer, or it could be like an assignment that you gave them just to them. But and that's one of the big pros was that. I loved that intervention time that we had wrapped into our schedule every single day. I love the fact that it wasn't like a time that you were losing from your planning time, because it was a time that was scheduled and planned. It was in our schedule. Every day we had an hour intervention time outside of our blocks, outside of our content areas. And it was really nice to have that. It was really great to have that. And during that time, they are getting pulled by their teachers, and it did help a lot. We focused a lot on reading this year, and a lot of our kids grew. They didn't grow to the growth that they are expected to grow in first grade. So that was one of the cons that I saw, was the fact that data is reflecting me and my teaching, and it's solely on me. Now, is it really solely on me? No. And that's it's still hard, because we did get good data at the end of the year. We didn't grow as much as I have in the past couple of years, and I just kept having to tell myself that this is a low group of kids. But I felt that was, to me, that was a con. To me, it was a con, the fact that it's all on me. this reflects me and solely me. So that was kind of hard and kind of pressured because of the fact that I was doing reading. And again, a pro was that we had that intervention time wrapped in every single day. I loved that. I loved the fact that we have an hour intervention time every single day. Another thing that I felt was a con was I am solely responsible for all of the level testing. So we test our kids beginning, middle, and end of the year for their leveled reading to get their at the level that they're on reading wise. We do Rigby and some Fontes and Pinnell too, because our Rigby only goes so high. So some of my higher kids I have to test on Fontes and Pinnell. So we do that, and it's all on me to get them tested beginning, middle, and end of the year. Now, beginning of the year, we didn't start off like this. I didn't have to do that, but middle of the year and end of the year, yes. And that's a lot. It was a lot of of testing. So that was a con to me, was the fact that I had to do all those. But thankfully, I work for a school district that my admin was willing to get me a sub. So I had 3 days where I could test them, and I had a sub in my classroom on those 3 days. So I was still on campus and still working. I was just pulling them for the reading test, and there was a sub in my room. So thankfully, I work for a school district that does that. But it's still a lot. All that level testing, all that is on you. Okay, so another con was that you're kind of on your own when it comes to planning. So let me explain. You do have a first grade team, but because y'all have departmentalized, you're all responsible for your own department, I guess. So reading planning was on me, when before we would all sit together and we would come and we would talk about it, and we would kind of just work it out together. And now it was me planning for my reading on my own. Same with our math teacher. She did her math planning on her own. Yes, we could all sit in the same room and we could bounce ideas off, and we have done that. But that was something that I had to get used to this year, because I've planned with the team for 9 years, and going to just planning by myself and coming up with my own lessons and all that was difficult. Yes, I have been in first grade for 7 years at this point, and I had pretty much the lessons ready, but I did change a lot because of what we were doing. So, but that was another kind of con for me, was the fact that I didn't have a team to plan with anymore. So another con was, and this is the last con that I have on my list that I could think of, was that I felt like I didn't become as close with my kids this year, because you only get to spend a certain amount of time with them. I felt like I didn't get to know them as well as I had in the past, versus spending the whole day with them and being with them all day, and you know everything. I came to realize that closer to the end, because one of the other first grade teachers would come to me and tell me like a story that one of my kids had told her when they were, my homeroom is what I'm considering, and the group of kids that I started out with all day. And I had no idea, because I didn't get that time to just know them. So that was probably my biggest con, was this group of kids. I felt like I didn't get to grow as close with them that I had with my kids in the past, because of I only get this amount of time with them. And that amount of time, we're literally working the whole entire time. So there's not like time to just sit there and just, talk. Like, we were doing morning meetings at the beginning of the year, so that was a great time to get to know the kids, but I didn't have that time anymore to dedicate to morning meetings every single day. So that was my biggest con, was the fact that I didn't feel like I could make those relationships like I could in the past. And that was a very, very hard one. And something that I came to realize at the end of the year was that I was sad to see this group of kids go, but I don't think I was as sad as I was in the past because I didn't know them as well. Now I did know all of first grade. I just felt like I didn't get to make those relationships with them. So my pros, I have a good list of pros. My first one was that I get to plan for one thing instead of planning for all the content areas. I am planning for one thing and well, actually, technically two things. Actually, last year I was technically planning for three things: science, social studies, and reading. But I wrapped my reading into my social studies, which helped a lot with like read alouds and things like that. And we did like a little center that they had this stuff in. So that was great. But on the other side, this next year, or not on the other side, but this next year, I don't have to plan for science. We're wrapping science in with our math so we can get a longer block time. And I'm so happy because I need a longer block time for reading. I need more time for their groups. So that was something that was extremely nice, was just having to plan for that one content area. And it was so great. The next thing that was really good is, or a great plus, was because I'm planning for that one content area, I can become an expert in that. I can know the TEKS backwards and forwards. I can know what the state is expecting of my kids. I can know what they're coming in with. I can know those TEKS that they're supposed to come to me with. I can know the TEKS that they're expected to get to in second grade. I can become like an expert in my field. And that's something that I was super excited about, was the fact that I can know it. Like, I can become the best possible teacher in this area. Now, on the other side of that, if we ever do like go back to where we're teaching everything, I won't know the other contents as well because of that. But at least I'll know reading and social studies. So, because that's what I'm teaching, actually, reading and social studies. And the last like big pro that I had was that I get to see all of the kids. I get to be there and I get to know every single first grader. I get to put a name to their face, and they get to know me, and I just get to create a bigger family. So that's pretty much what I came up with for my pros and cons. If you have any pros and cons for departmentalizing, leave them down below. If you have any questions of something that you were thinking about, leave them down below. That's all I could think of. Yeah, so that's what I set down. I came up with my little list. But that's what I got for you. I mean, I will say this, we are departmentalizing again next year, so I will be teaching reading and social studies again next year, and I'm really excited about it. After having this year, like I said, I was the one that was hesitant. I was the one that was holding us back for so long. Actually, I think our principal came to us in like September and said something to us, and we didn't start doing it until October because I was the one that was the hold up. I don't know about this. I need to, like, I was the one. The other teachers were like, yeah, let's do this. But I just didn't know if that was what I wanted. So, but after doing it for a year, yes, it's a lot of work and I still feel the pressure. I'm not going to tell you that it's all roses and rainbows. There is still the pressure of getting these kids where they need to be for reading. There is still the pressure of the data reflects me and my teaching, but that's for anything. The data reflects you no matter what. But now it's just a bigger scope of data. Like this data is for all of first grade. That reflects me. All of first grade reflects me. And it's not just this portion of kids. So it is a lot of that. It entails a lot of planning and a lot of knowing your kids. You really have to know the kids and what they are capable of. And you really have to know where they are. And you have to know all of them. It's not just for your class anymore. It's for the whole first grade. And that was something that was kind of hard for me to wrap my head around, was how am I going to be able to help these kids? And that's something I'm still trying to figure out, is how I can track all this for all of first grade. How can I track their data? How can I track what they can do, what they can't do, what I need to work with them in small group, what will help them push them forward? So that was something that was really hard for me. And it's still really hard for me. I'm not gonna lie. It's not for the faint of heart, but I do really enjoy departmentalizing. I do enjoy just teaching that one subject and becoming an expert in that subject. I really have enjoyed that. I really have liked that. And I have enjoyed getting to know all the kids. I have to work harder at the cons. So that's where I am. But that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this helped. I don't know how much it helped. I think my next video is going to be a haul of all the stuff that I bought for my classroom, because it's a lot. So yeah, but that is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye, y'all.